Today on Florida Sportsman Best Boat. For the serious angler in search of a custom sight fishing platform, we'll be taking a look at the Dorado 25 flat deck.
Having a flat deck, a second station, and having somebody up top to direct all the activity, you see a fish anywhere around, somebody can get on it in a second.
If you require an offshore battle wagon fit to handle rough conditions with ease, we'll be looking at the Contender 32ST.
As soon as we got to the jetties, I saw whitewater breaking over the rocks, and I knew we were definitely going to put this boat to the test.
And for the family looking to blend luxury cruising and offshore adventure, we'll be taking a look at the Solace 345.
I had everything I needed in that console. It reminded me of my college dorm.
All coming up on Florida Sportsman Best Boat.
Welcome to another episode of Florida Sportsman Best Boat. You know, we say it a lot that we got 3 new boats to the market. I promise you, we got one today they've never seen before.
You got that right.
Okay, Rick, you said unique. Well, I gotta tell you, Dorado 25. Every time I'm on a Dorado, there's something different about the boat, and that's because you can design your own boat. When I say design, it's still the same 25 hull, but if you want to customize your boat, you can. And today we're actually going to be looking at the Dorado 25, who a guide actually designed the boat for his business. It's customized for him. Mine's going to be laid out a little bit different, and Dorado gives you the opportunity to do that.
While we're talking about boats that we've never seen before, I couldn't believe when we got the 32 Contender ST, that boat is a boat that I've never ridden on, and I thought I'd seen every boat that Contender had to offer. I've been on them since the beginning. This 32 ST was a cool boat. It's a completely unique ride for Contender as far as I'm concerned, and it's such a step above the old 31 that we all know. What a boat that was.
Talk about unique. A new company on the horizon, Solace, has come out with a new boat at 345, okay? And I don't know what to call it. The first time I saw it, I knew I'd never seen anything like it. And the first time I rode in it, I knew it wasn't going to be the last time I wanted to take a ride in one of those. You have got to see this 34-foot boat.
There was a lot to love about that boat, Rick. You're not kidding. Hey, we've got a lot to look at today. Why don't we get started?
When we return, our hosts take a look at a boat designed for the hardcore sight fisherman, the Dorado 25 flat deck. But first, let's join our hosts as they discuss the importance of wearing a personal flotation device while on the water in this week's seminar segment.
Your FWC wants you to know that life jackets save lives. Let me tell you, over half the boating fatalities occur because somebody drowns, and a lot of those can be prevented by life jackets. Now, if you find yourself in the water, something like this is just what you want to have to keep you alive. But today's innovative products have made life jackets so easy you don't even know you've got them on. A belt model like this, a vest like Lori's wearing, you can have it on you all the time. I promise you won't even know it's there, but oh, can it keep you safe and alive when you need it. I got another tip for you too. If you fish with your family or with a regular crew, each person pick out a life jacket, pre-fit it to themselves, and then put their name on it. Keep those life jackets very accessible. A lot of T-tops have now got holders in them. They'll fall right to you, pick yours out, put it on. An emergency can be averted in no time. Remember, safe boating starts with you.
This segment brought to you by Suzuki, the ultimate outboard motor. Welcome back to Florida Sportsman Best Boat. Join our hosts as they take a closer look at the Dorado 25 flat deck. Representing the bay boat category, the Dorado 25 flat deck has an overall length of 25 feet. a beam of 8 feet 4 inches, and a max horsepower rating of 400. Designed for cruising nearshore waters, she has a draft of 15 inches, a dead rise of 14 degrees, a dry weight of 3,500 pounds, and a fuel capacity of 90 gallons. Now, let's hear more from our hosts.
Guys, driving to the ramp today, I knew we were going to be on a Dorado, and my first thought was, what color combination are they going to bring today? It's always so stylish and so unique, and it brings that little bit of flair to the water.
It feels almost like we're on a big flats boat or a bay boat because the deck is raised, and I love the fact it's one level all the way through, but look, you're still a long ways from the water. Good idea.
Listen guys, this boat is great fishing on the beach, offshore, as well as inshore. We've got a great day to do both. What do you say we get after it?
Let's get it.
I really enjoyed the day today on this 25 Dorado flat deck, and one of the reasons for that is I'm always happy to see a Dorado boat. Every one of them's got their own personality. The reason for that is Dorado's a company that's very willing to customize a boat to suit your individual needs, and this boat was no exception.
The Dorado 25 is a proven hull. They've had it out for years and they customize it any way you want it. The one they sent us this year was a sight fisherman's dream.
Among the notable things that stood out to me right away is the fact that this guy wanted some extra room in the cockpit, and they used the console from a 23 Dorado to create a bunch more space around the console so his anglers would have room to walk around while they were fighting fish and just have more room to stretch out on the boat. Now this boat's got a very open design, easy to fish 360 degrees around, and you know, from a casting standpoint, you can fish as comfortably from the back of the boat as you can from the front of the boat. The gunnel heights on the Dorado 25 is really practical for anglers for a couple of different reasons. To be able to just reach down and have your hands right there at water level easily without straining is really useful, and this guy is going to be no exception to that rule. As a tarpon guide on the West Coast, this is going to be really handy for him. This boat features the standard 60-gallon live well that all the Dorado 25s have built into the transom. Now another live well on this boat, a 62-gallon, is featured inside of the helm seat. The helm seat has got a unique hinge design that allows you to flip the top forward, opening up the entire surface of the top of the live well, which also enables you to dump a big cast net into that as well. There's a pair of pitch wells built into the front gunnels up on the bow, which is a really useful feature. And if the two 60-gallon live wells in the back aren't enough, you can also add a 20-gallon live well in the front console seat, which is really probably unnecessary. The boat we were on today utilized that space for a drink cooler.
The helm seating was actually set up perfect. Plenty of room for two people to sit. You had cup holders, you had the rod holders behind you, you had the live well, and it also had a tackle station in the back.
Okay, we've already told you that the boat's set up to do more than one kind of fishing. Well, how about 37 rod holders in the boat? 2 racks of rod holders in the T-top, so you've always got just the kind of rod you want within an arm's length. Listen, this boat drafts next to nothing. You can take it in very skinny water. Twin power poles means you can lock it down when you see a fish, cast at him, and he never knows you're there.
You know, one of the things that makes the Dorado 25 such a popular boat is the versatility. It'll get you offshore on nice blue water days to go catch a sailfish and fish on the beach really well, but at the same time, it draws 15 inches of water, so it's a realistic opportunity for you to get inshore and go sight fishing for redfish. The Dorado 25 top comes in a bunch of different configurations, and this boat was a full tower with second station, and that is really practical for a guy that's going to be fishing the passes in the beach for tarpon or sight fishing, cruising, anything looking for fish.
George and Rick had to literally say, Lori, it's time to get down, give somebody else a turn. I love to be on the second station. It opens up to a whole new world up there. But the one thing is the sun. You feel it up there. Not today. That bimini top was fantastic.
One of the design aspects that I've always admired of the Dorados is it's got just the right amount of insulated fish boxes and plenty of live well space, lots of room to fish, and it's really cool looking. It's a beautiful boat. But for a fisherman, this boat's going to check all the boxes.
Okay guys, all day today, especially offshore, I felt like I was on an offshore center console with the design up here in the hull because I'm so used to having a step up on the bow. And this one does not. And so I was like, man, what a cool boat.
This is a highly customizable boat. All right, this is a boat built for a guide. As I said earlier, you know, a guide picked this boat to do business on, and they built it to suit his needs.
For me, if you're gonna inshore fish, if you're gonna run the beach, and particularly if you're doing some sight fishing, the Dorado 25 flat deck is one that you better check out.
When we return, our hosts examine a boat built to handle rough seas and big fish, the Contender 32ST. This segment brought to you by Navionics. Escape the ordinary. Welcome back to Florida Sportsman Best Boat. Join our hosts as they take a closer look at the Contender 32ST. Representing the 27 to 32 foot class in the center console category, the Contender 32ST has an overall length of 32 feet 7 inches, a beam of 9 feet 8 inches, and a max horsepower rating of 800. Built for hardcore offshore fishing, she has a draft of 20 inches, a dead rise of 24.5 degrees, a dry weight of 11,600 pounds, and a fuel capacity of 310 gallons. Now, let's hear more from our hosts.
Okay team, here we go again. We're on a Contender 32ST. We got a couple things working against us. The fishing has been terrible for one, and the ocean is supposed to get nasty. How are we going to get in the game, Rick?
Well, we picked a perfect day to be on a 32-foot Contender, I can tell you that much. We're going to get bait, take it as it comes. We know we're going to be comfortable. It's just going to be a matter of finding some fish to bite.
Well, if we don't find fish today and it gets a little rough, I already know where I'm going to take my afternoon nap.
All right. Well, let's get after it, man. Now, our original plan was to go catch some bait, but we got lucky and ran into the live bait guy in Stewart Inlet, so we took advantage of that opportunity and loaded up with bait from him and headed straight off to the grounds. Okay. Hey, you know what? One of the things that I've always loved about Contenders is the ability to carry a ton of bait. You know, this one has got 3 tanks, 2 40-gallon tanks here, and an 80-gallon down in the deck. And that's awesome for carrying a bunch of baits if you're in a tournament or taking a trip to the Bahamas or whatever. You know, today what we're going to do, we don't need all 3 of them running. We're going to probably just use the one here, but if we needed it, we'd have it.
You could actually turn this thing into a commercial bait boat. You can hold so much bait.
For sure you could. All right, man. Well, let's go fishing. Now, Contender boats are really well known for their ride. That 24.5-degree dead rise is really, really soft riding. A lot of days we don't get a chance to really see what they can do. Well, this day, as soon as we got to the jetties, I saw whitewater breaking over the rocks, and I knew we were definitely going to put this boat to the test.
Okay, riding to the fishing grounds in the big Contender was delightfully uneventful. You've got to look out from inside of that boat to see whether or not it's rough, because you're not going to feel the boat pound if you're waiting for that. And as they typically do deliver, this big Contender put us on the fishing spot with no issues.
Now, this model was equipped to fish either outrigger style or drifting and had a beautiful pair of carbon fiber rigger poles. Now, the conditions were terrible for rigger fishing. The weeds were unbearable.
When you can't troll because of weeds, you can always strip. The Contender lay beam tube perfectly with rod holders all the way down the side, so you could put out multiple baits that drifted in one spot instead of constantly plowing through the weeds.
Got our lines out, waiting for it. Bam, all of a sudden, rod went off. I got myself a nice kingfish.
Now, I'm a big fan of fishing 360 around a boat and drift style fishing. A couple of reasons why that's good is, one, you can work a fish all the way around the boat and keep your spread in the water. Another one is it frees up the helmsman to help out with the rods so you can put more baits in the water. It's a win-win.
Working this fish and him moving around the boat, I mean, he was going left, right. All of a sudden, I found myself having to go all the way up to the bow. But there was no problem. I never tripped over anything. It was great having that open concept. All right, George, I'm done. I've caught all the fish for the day, and conveniently, I've got a nice lounge right here. I'm taking a break. Maybe you and Rick can maybe try to catch one today?
We got you covered. Don't worry about it.
Okay. This bow seating where I laid out for my little nap, super comfortable, wide. Never felt like I was gonna fall off. I enjoyed my little nap I had.
Now, Lori might have been impressed with how comfortable the sun lounge was, but the first thing I noticed was it had 2 separate insulated boxes that you could use for a fish box or for drinks, food, whatever you wanted to put in there. It's pretty cool.
Between the weeds and the chop and the bites, we were going through tackle like crazy too. We were getting tangled up. The tackle station is so roomy you can carry every kind of weapon in there you're ever going to need to put a fish on the box. It was easy to whip out a couple liters, but you know, fishing in the weeds in the chop got frustrating after a while. We decided it was time to head into the sandbar.
When we got to the sandbar, it was clear that this was more than just a fishing boat. I mean, luxury things such as the upholstery, a crazy banging stereo system, and a slide-out cooler on an electric track. I mean, this boat was rigged.
Let me tell you, the boat transformed from being a hardcore tournament fishing machine to a great place to relax when we got into the sandbar. We couldn't have been more comfortable for lunch.
Okay guys, we got hit with some adverse conditions today there. I mean, you know, the ocean wasn't as rough as we expected, but still pretty choppy. And the weeds, they were just unbearable. Hey, since you're the only one who caught any fish today, I mean, what's your assessment of the deal?
It was great catching fish on this boat. I was on a merry-go-round all day long. Just walk around.
Everybody's building their boats bigger. I'm gonna tell you right now, anything this Contender 32ST can't handle, I sure don't wanna be in.
When we come back, our hosts step aboard a boat that intertwines luxury cruising with serious fishing, the Solace 345. This segment brought to you by Yamaha. Reliability starts here.
An entirely new species of extreme predator is moving offshore. The Yamaha 5.6-liter V8 XTO offshore outboard. Extreme big block thrust and power in the industry's first direct injection 4-stroke. Quiet, efficient, powerful, and proven Yamaha reliability. More than an outboard, it's a fully integrated power system. The all-new Yamaha V8 XTO offshore.
Welcome back to Florida Sportsman Best Boat. Join our hosts as they check out the Solace 345. Representing the 33 to 53 foot class in the center console category, the Solace 345 has an overall length of 38 feet, a beam of 10 feet 6 inches, and a max horsepower rating of 850. Engineered for luxury, comfort, and adventure, she has a draft of 22 inches, a dead rise of 23 degrees, a dry weight of 14,400 pounds, and a fuel capacity of 780 gallons. Now, let's hear more from our hosts.
Okay team, I've been waiting for this day all season. We're on the Solace 345 today, and let me tell you something. The first thing that jumps out at you on this boat is this walk-through transom, but after a couple of minutes on board, I realized there's a lot more going on than just this transom. We got a day ahead of us. How about it, Rick?
This boat's been moving 60 miles an hour ever since I saw it. Even when it was in the slip, there's so much going on, but it all looks so great. I can't wait to try it.
I see George Jetson. If he had a boat, this would be it. I'm just waiting for Rosie to come around the corner with a tray of bait. I mean, this thing is something I've never seen before. We are gonna have a good day.
You're darn right. This thing's futuristic. Let's go fishing.
Several months ago, when the first artist drawings of the Solace 345 crossed my desk, I got to admit, I was a little bit skeptical. It remained to be seen how was this boat going to be run. I was dying to find out, and I was about to. After just a few short minutes behind the wheel on this boat, any skepticism I might have had about the ride was immediately put to rest. The entire helm area was very comfortable to run from. In fact, the 3-panel glass in the front and the 3-sided enclosure that you stood behind gave you the feeling that you were in actually more of a pilot house. Although everything inside the helm was open air and there was plenty of circulation throughout there. It was very comfortable to drive from. You still felt like you were inside the bridge deck on a closed boat. Another luxury item that made the helmsman's experience much more comfortable was a shock mitigation system in both the deck pad and shockwave seating as well, which made driving the boat much more pleasant.
Blind spots drive me crazy. Well, Solace had me in mind. Actually had a hydraulic deck that raises, okay? I had perfect vision over the bow of this boat.
Now the upper station on the boat in the early drawings to me looked a little bit small and tight, almost like you were sitting in a small sports car. But after sitting in the thing for a while, that ladder back seating up there, the hard top overhead keeping you in the shade, access to all my systems on the helm panel, I really grew to love it before the day was over. Also, the fact that the tower folds down and goes out of your way for easier trailing was an added benefit.
Going up onto the sun lounge today, this one is super comfortable, and that's because they use different density of foam in different areas of the seat. So the whole entire day I was comfortable, I felt safe and secure, even when we were riding out the inlet. The finishes on this boat were amazing, and that's because of the ladder back seats. and the wood trim.
The cockpit deck real estate area on the Solace 345 was huge, and adding 4 more feet to it by way of the walk-through transom made it even bigger. This provided Solace with the opportunity to include 2 huge access doors, one compartment opening up the area that stored the Seakeeper 2 system, and the other one provided access to all of your other build systems, including sea chests, pumps, etc. Everything you needed to get to was very easily reachable from above the deck.
One of the big advantages of inboard diesel motors is you fight your fish behind the motors. Well, I'd never been able to do that in an outboard before, but I could in this one. You could bring a fish to the gaff behind the motors and never have the interference or worry about the props. All that was gone. You're actually fishing behind the props on the Yamahas. Not only did the Solace 345 have dual live wells, each live well had its own tuna tube just in front of the live well. We caught a bonita, plopped it right in there. We never saw a marlin, we never got in that territory, but if we had, we'd have been ready.
We had seats on the port side and starboard side that actually folded up and down. So if you're not fishing and you needed that extra real estate, you have it. Throughout the day, I was able to go down into the console. Not only did the console have AC, you had a full sink, you had a head, and you even had a couch that folded down into a bed.
She had stand-up rod holders inside the console. She had rod holders, get this, on the back of the T-top that hydraulically laid down to make them more accessible. It was the coolest thing you ever saw.
I didn't know that the sunshade actually came down where the fishing rods were. Really neat and unique, and boy, I gotta tell you, we needed that sunshade today.
Solace uses hydraulics to control several items on the boat, including the dive platform that comes out from underneath the walk-through transom, the deck at the center helm for the driver, which you can raise and lower, and the forward windshield, all controlled by hydraulics.
When George, Rick, and myself get on a boat, all 3 of us, we look at everything a little bit different. The guys see tackle station, I see the galley. This had a whole built-in refrigerator system. On top of that, we had 3 drawers that were all storage. Best part of this galley though, built-in grill. Not only a built-in grill, we had a full-size kitchen sink with a soap dispenser. So the best surprise on this boat, the swim platform. I have never seen anything like it before. It was the perfect place for me to relax and hang out on the water today while Rick and George brought me drinks.
On the website, they say this boat is where luxury intertwines with adventure. And I couldn't describe it more perfectly than that, okay? This is a luxurious boat that's capable of taking you into sport adventures, diving and fishing and that type of stuff. But if you like luxury and fine things, you can take them to the water with you on this boat. The Solace 345 definitely is something you need to take a look at.
Guys, all 3 boats this week were really unique, and I cannot wait for next week and see what the lineup is.
You're not kidding, Lori. I'm excited about it myself. Listen, if you'd like any more information about the boats you've seen this week, or any boat you see on Florida Sportsman Best Boat, visit us at the web at floridasportsman.com.
Or we'll see you next week with another edition of Florida Sportsman Best Boat.